Okay, a quick recap on the strumming the ukulele and the three strum patterns we learnt in the first lesson. So we're going to be strumming the ukulele with our first finger, and we're going to be strumming down using the nail on the way down, and the fleshy part, the pad of your finger, on the way up. And your hand is loose and relaxed, your wrist is loose, and the movement comes from the wrist. You're not moving your whole arm, you're just moving your wrist down, up, down, up. And we strum the ukulele at the point where the neck joins the body, and in the case of most soprano ukuleles that's the 12th fret. Some tenors concerts it might be the 14th or further up, but generally if you practice at the point where the ukulele joins the body, around the 12th fret, that's the best place to strum. You get a better sound from there. Okay, so we're going to be looking at three different patterns that we did. The first one, which is the straight 4, which is just striking 4 beats down on the beat. The second one is going to be the straight 8, which is the down, up, down, up, down, up. And the third one, which is a swing 8. Now when I'm talking about a bar, for all of the sake of these, we're going to be using what they call common time or 4/4 time, which means there are 4 beats to the bar. So a bar is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the end of the bar, and then the next bar would start again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. When we're playing 8, we're still actually playing those 4 beats, but we're playing upstrokes in between, so we're playing ands, if you like, in between the numbers. So for the sake of just the straight 4 pattern, I'm just going to do it now, playing a C chord, so 3rd finger, 3rd fret, 1st string, string nearest the floor, playing all the strings, and I'm going to just strum 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not terribly exciting, and pretty quickly you want to get on to more complicated strums. But if you practice that with the C chord and with a G7 and an F chord, and practice changing at the end of each of those 4 to the next chord, things, it will help your chord changes as well as your strumming, and just getting your strumming solid, which is very important. So the next pattern we're going to look at is the straight 8. So what we're doing here, we're still playing the 4 downs, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're putting an and, which is an upstroke, in between the numbers. So we'd end up with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So still relatively simple and keeping a very straight pattern, and again not terribly interesting, but just good to get your grounding in solid to get started before we move on to the more complex rhythms. So our third rhythm, which starts to get a bit more interesting, third strum pattern, is the swing 8. So 8 beats again like we just did, but this time we're adding a swing element to it. And the secret of swing is to compress the and, the upstroke, push it closer to the next number. So the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 stay in exactly the same place, but we end up compacting, pushing the and after the 1 up against the 2. So it ends up more, instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we end up with a more 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, which I'll play for you now, again just on a C chord. So instead of, this is a straight 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now with swing. So that's your 3 most basic strumming patterns, but also they all have their uses. You will find that even the straight 4 that you would use in jazz and things later on with stopped chords, so they're all worth learning. And all of the more complex strumming patterns that we will go into later revolve around those 8 beats. So generally your hand is still going to be playing, even if you're playing a complicated strum, your hand's still going to be going down, up, down, up, down, up for all 8 beats. But what you'll be doing is you'll be not strumming on some of those beats to create a syncopated, what they call a syncopated rhythm, where you're missing beats to add interest, to make it more interesting as a strum pattern for songs. And at the next session we'll be looking at syncopated rhythms and things. So thanks for that, and I will do another video for Yellow Submarine, which uses all 3 of those strum patterns, and I'll link them between and send you copies to them both. Okay.